Chat, bad news. Literally, I don't know how to break this to you, but literally, I just lost everything in Thailand. I lost my home. I just broke up with my girlfriend. I'm in the streets. I got nowhere to go. I'm so broke, man. The only plan is to move back to England and start again.
I'm 27. I've just got out of prison in Thailand. I've got no job, no clear path.
I never thought that I'd be in this position, but in a week's time, I'm going to be homeless in Thailand. Literally homeless.
I live and traveled all over Asia for the past 15 years. Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, China, Malaysia, you name it, I've been there. But I've never seen foreigners go broke the way they do here in Thailand. Not just struggling, I'm talking broke, like they're homeless, they're begging for money on the streets, they're stuck in hospitals, they can't pay the bills, they overstay their visas, and ultimately they just end up in jail. You can't spend real time in Thailand without seeing this.
Oh, this is last day.
These people, he knows them, man. I just have to trust God.
I don't have any money until like Tuesday or Wednesday. I got 110 baht. It's like $3.30. Hello. You speak English?
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to dance.
You wanna dance?
Yeah.
So what's going on? Is Thailand doing this to people, or people are doing this to themselves? Is Thailand the problem, or personal responsibility is to be blamed? Or maybe it's both. Before we start blaming Thailand, we need to slow down. Because Thailand didn't wake up one day and decide to bankrupt foreigners. At the same time, you don't see this pattern everywhere in Asia at the same level. The real question is, what kind of person thrives here and what kind of person collapses? Thailand doesn't create chaos. It exposes it. And if you don't understand that before coming here, you might become one of the stories I'm about to break down. This is what I've been seeing. Most foreigners that go broke here came here already broke. These are not people with savings that slowly lost everything. These are people that barely had enough to even come here as a tourist in the first place. They hear that Thailand is cheap, that you can stretch your money, and that you can live here with a fraction of what you're spending back home. So what do? They book a flight and just wing it. They don't have no savings, no emergency funds, no job offers, no long-term plan. Sometimes they are already dealing with debt, addictions, and instability back home. They don't move here from strength. They move here as a last-ditch attempt. They think that the lower cost of living will magically fix everything. But let's be honest here. If you have no savings, no structure, no income, you are going broke in 3 months anyways. In that case, Thailand didn't create the collapse, it just accelerated. Lower rent don't fix bad decisions, cheap food doesn't fix no income, and sunsets don't fix no plan. And when the reality hits, it hits hard and it hits fast. That's why you see people stranded, not because Thailand attacked them, it's because they already show up at the edge. Another reason why foreigners go broke in Thailand is relationships. I'm talking about dating, marriage, friendships. Now guys, let me be clear, this happens to both men and women, but it's definitely more common with men, definitely. And it's not a Thai women issue. This happens when you mix loneliness, money, foreign legal systems, and assets that you don't fully control. Some foreigners don't move here as partners, they move here as ATMs. There's this British expat that moved to Thailand with around 1.5 million pounds. He had a very successful career, he owned restaurants, he was an engineer, he did really well for himself. Then he goes and marries a Thai woman, they retire in Thailand in the mid-2000s. They buy a luxury home, they buy a 40-room apartment complex for rental income, and at some point they are pulling tens of thousands a year. On paper they are living large, but because of Thai law, foreigners can own land here directly. So all the properties are in his wife's name. Later, during a legal dispute, the wife takes a loan from a private money lender. Without fully understanding the terms and without a proper legal advice, the lender eventually forecloses on their contract, the apartment complex is sold. Years later, police shows up and arrests him for squatting, for living in what he thought was his property. He ends up in jail and comes back home to discover that the house has been sold. Within less than 20 years, he went from 1.5 million pounds to absolutely zero. Now ask yourself, was this Thailand's fault? Or was this a man that put his entire estate into a structure that he didn't fully understand? Here's what is really happening. Many men arrive to Thailand recently divorced, lonely, and with a large sum of money from savings or retirement. They're emotionally vulnerable and they move fast. They build houses in lands they don't own, they open businesses in other people's name, they wire large amounts of money without contracts, and they confuse affection with legal security. And when all this collapses, it's completely. Thailand didn't scam them, they just entered a financial structure they didn't understand. In any country, if you give away the control of your assets without legal protection, you are exposed. Thailand just makes that exposure way more expensive. Thailand has something that many countries don't: accessibility. Bangkok can feel like Vice City. You get cheap alcohol, clubs open till late, green is legal, underground scenes, and nobody's asking questions. For a young guy, that's exciting, and for an older guy, it feels like a second youth. And there is nothing wrong with partying. Partying is not the problem. The problem is when party becomes the whole structure of your life. That's when you enter the slippery slope. It doesn't happen overnight. It usually happens like this. You move here, you meet some friends, you go out on the weekends, then you go out on weekdays, then you go out every single day. Then expenses go up, sleep goes down, work declines, and your savings start shrinking. And since Thailand is cheaper than the West, you don't feel the damage immediately. That's the trap. You burn slower. You think you are fine until you're not. There's this British guy named Billy Moore. They made a whole movie about his life here in Thailand. It's on Netflix, you should check it out. He came to Thailand to basically turn his life around. He was clean, focused, teaching English, training Muay Thai. He was even like a stunt double for Rambo. Then he fell into the underground fighting scene, bad company, substance abuse. Then police got him, they sent him to prison, first in Chiang Mai and then to Bangkok, and they gave him like a 3-year sentence. His first night in prison was literally hell. He even slept next to someone that recently passed away. Now, I know that this is like an extreme story, but the pattern is not rare. Thailand doesn't force this substance on you, but it doesn't stop it neither. Don't think that this only happens to people in their 20s. I've seen older men do the exact same thing. They divorce, retire, and suddenly free. So they start chasing the nightlife like they're suddenly 25 again. But there's a big difference because when you are 25, you can mess up and rebuild. But when you are 60 and you mess up with your retirement money, there is no reset button. And that part is actually dangerous. As I always say, Bangkok rewards discipline and punishes the lack of it. If you come here with structure, you can build something meaningful. If you are lost in life and you come here looking for escape, Thailand will amplify that escape until you disappear into it. It's not evil, it's just available. And availability without discipline is a very dangerous combination. Then we also have another category, the dreamers. And I'm not saying that dreaming is bad because ambition is actually good. But moving across the world on vibes alone is never a good strategy. I have seen this in Taiwan and I'm seeing it right now in Thailand. It's the same pattern. Guys who want to be rappers. And they think that moving across the globe to a country where people barely understand your lyrics is somehow going to make them famous. Or they want to be models, directors, influencers, traders, entrepreneurs. But it's the same thing. No job offers, no income plan, no savings money, just vibes alone. And I think it's arrogant to believe that this didn't work in my country, but will definitely work in that country. Thinking like here in Thailand, you don't got millions of people, talented people trying to do the exact same thing that you want to do. Like maybe they think that being a foreigner will give them like an edge or something. But let me tell you something. Being a foreigner here is not a business model. This is what usually happens. They are burning money. They are not generating any money. They have to pay for rent, food, the nightlife, gear, the studio time, the camera. And they do this month after month, no revenue, no traction, but they are stubborn. I will give them that. They are very stubborn. They always refuse to get like a stable income because in their head, that means giving up. So what they do is that they will like teach English part-time, or maybe have their girlfriends handle like all the bills, or maybe they live on savings, or maybe their parents send them money. That's very common here. They don't always go bankrupt, but year passes and they are still in the same place, the same, like no traction, nothing to show, just belief and vibes alone. It's just like spinning the hamster wheel for years, you just become older, but you don't get anything. The problem is not dreaming. The problem is dreaming without having a runway. If you want to do something creative, that's fine. But you need to have income first, savings first, and structure first. Then you can have the dream. Otherwise, Thailand will just become a very expensive motivation. And motivations don't pay rent. So let's zoom out. We already spoke about people that come here already broke, people that mix love with unchecked money, people who lost themselves in the lifestyle, and people that move here on dreams alone. 4 different stories, but one pattern. Thailand didn't create the problem. Thailand exposed it. Thailand is not evil. Thailand is efficient, is accessible, and is stimulating. It's free in many ways that Western countries just aren't. And freedom without discipline is dangerous. This country will magnify whatever problems you bring. If you bring structure, savings, and a plan, you can build an incredible life here. If you bring chaos, addiction, ego, delusion, Thailand will also accelerate that too. That's just the truth. So who should be moving to Thailand in 2026? If you have emergency funds, health insurance, stable income, or at least a clear income plan and emotional control, then moving to Thailand can be one of the best decisions you make in your life. But if you are running from something, or you are broke, or you are thinking that a new country is gonna fix all your problems, then Thailand is not for you, because you are not changing your life. You are just changing locations, and location does not solve character problems. If you are thinking about moving to Thailand long term, don't worry, I got you. Watch my other videos where I break down real costs, visa structures, and what you need to know to actually live here. And if you want more honest conversations about expat life, structure, discipline, and living abroad the right way, then you should subscribe. Because I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. I'm here to show you exactly how things work. See you guys on the next one.
Up anymore. I know you only want me when you're drunk and feeling lonely. Don't text me things you don't